Hi, and welcome to another eWheels tutorial. Today we're going to show you how to download the Begode app and get you all set up with your Begode electric unicycle and have it linked up with the Begode app and do the settings. So the first thing you want to do on the iOS platform is head into the App Store, and then you want to search Begode, so Begode. Then you want to click the download button. Now, you don't want the GOTWAY, that's outdated. You want the BEGODE, Begode app. So wait for that to finish downloading, and then we're going to go ahead and open it up. Now, it's better to allow these connections as you'll get the full functionality of the app. If you don't allow some of these functions, some of it will not work. Bluetooth is very vital, so click OK, and then I'm going to allow data and cellular, or data and Wi-Fi, and then it's going to ask you to connect. So before we do that, I'm going to show you how to get all registered. So if we click on the bottom right where it says Me, this is your registration page. Now on the registration page, if we click Register, you can also change the language on the top right. If you have one, you can, and you forgot your password, you can click Forgot Password, but we're going to do Register, and we're going to do my work email right here. So we're going to do jack@ewheels.com. So like I said, it's important to fill in all this information here, and then you can hit the verification code to ensure you have the maximum time of the verification code being sent. Like I said, this can take up to 30 seconds. Also make sure it doesn't show up in spam. So be a little bit patient, but it's good to fill in all the rest of the information before you put in your verification code, so when it does arrive, you can just go ahead and click Submit. And we did just get it, so it's 0228, hit Submit. Registration successful, and if I remember my password correctly, 1205678, and we can sign in. Okay, and that's it. So at this point, you can connect to the app, but before we do that, I'm going to show you some of the other features. So on the bottom row right here, you have Track, Moments, and Discover. So on the track, you have this where will essentially track your ride, and you have Moments, which is kind of like your friend group. You can share posts, you can share your rides, share photos, and Discover is to be able to show you that Discover is to help show friends nearby. So that's essentially those three functions. I wouldn't imagine you guys using it a lot, but it is there if you want to explore that. In the Me page, basically you have Message Center, which is people who have messaged you or followers. It's pretty all self-explanatory, and we are using the latest app right here. We are using version 1.1.6, so that's how you check your version. And then inside the Settings tab, you can actually change your other settings with your app. So in terms of your account, you can change email, you can change your password, you can change the language to whatever you'd like. And then you can check for updates on the app itself. And then you can also do firmware upgrade, which is the most crucial thing of this. So you'll have to connect to the app, you have to have your wheel connected to the app, and then you can perform a firmware upgrade. So let's get started. We're gonna turn on the wheel right now. So with the wheel completely turned on and Bluetooth enabled, it should naturally just show up. If it doesn't, you can click Continue Searching. So we're going to connect right here. And to make sure that the right wheel is connected, there's two ways you can verify this. Is right under the big 0 right now, you can see A2, which is the model that I'm connected to. You can also click the horn or the light button. So the wheel front headlight will light up and the horn will sound if you click either of those. Now, on this page, you have also camera and videotape. Camera allows you to kind of record or take photos with the app. And videotape will put the hood over the videotape. Essentially, you'll see all the stats. So you can record your data as you're riding, essentially. Now, because the screen isn't fitted, or the app isn't fitted to the size of the screen, You can exit out of this by tapping the top left, and it'll say the recording is finished, and you'll be able to either save or cancel. So I'm going to hit cancel. And going back into the Me profile on the bottom right, you'll see settings. So inside the settings, the most crucial thing is using the firmware upgrade. So on this page, it's most important to click the model that is associated with the wheel that you are connected to. So I'm using the A2. I'm going to tap A2. And if you tap the A2 GW, so on and so forth, you'll be able to confirm the upgrade on your hit firmware upgrade. Now, before I tap that, I want you guys to know this can take a while on the iOS. It'll take about 2-3 minutes. On Android, it's significantly faster. And it's important not to have the wheel and the phone too far apart. Have it really close, and just don't do anything with your phone during this period. Don't have the screen go to sleep, and don't, swipe away from the app as well. Just keep it still there until the firmware upgrade is completely done. So we're going to click firmware upgrade, and you'll hear the wheels start beeping. That means the upgrade or update is in progress. So the percentage will go all the way up to 100%, and the wheel will turn off. So we'll cut back when the update is nearly done. So the update is nearly done, and you should expect the wheel to turn off automatically. 97 should hit 100. It'll say upgrade successful, and you can see that the screen on my wheel has turned off. So all we're going to do is power it back on, and you're good to go. So with some of the other features of the Begode app on the home screen, if you click between the light and the camera function where those 6 dots are, you can see the other more detailed analytics of the wheel: total mileage, top speed, altitude. And if we go over to the top left, you'll see the vehicle status. You'll see the vehicle status, and this will include your speed, current, all in a basically graph format. This will also tell you if there's a MOS or a Hall sensor failure, voltage, gyro, things of that nature. And if at the time that the error occurs, you're also able to upload the data on the top right for troubleshooting. So basically what that means is Begode will be able to see the data of the wheel and be able to kind of do a more detailed diagnostic of the wheel and what the issue exactly is. So with that being said, we are going to go back to the main screen. We're going to go through the settings, which you'll probably be using the most when connecting to the Begode app. To do that, you'll have to go to the top right where you can see the gear, the cog. And we're going to go through all these settings from the first to the very last. Now, the first one is mode setting. And you have 3 different options here. You have soft, medium, and strong. So in soft mode, it basically means that the pedals will lean the most in the direction of the rider compared to strong, which it will lean the least. If you're leaning, for example, and you're leaning forward, the pedals will lean forward. And when you're braking, the pedals will lean back with you. So strong will maintain the pedals basically completely still, whatever you're doing with the wheel, and soft will have the pedals lean the most. So we're going to change, for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to change it to medium. And when you change to medium, you want to hit save on the top right. It'll say switch to medium. And you can also see on the display of your Begode wheel, it'll say 2, and strong is 3, soft is 1. If you don't have a display on your wheel and you're running an older Begode wheel, then you won't have that option. But you can confirm on the app, as it'll give you direct feedback on what mode you're on. Now, the second thing is alarms. So starting off at the very top, turn off level 1 alarm essentially means that the level 1 alarm will be off, but level 2 and level 3 alarm will be on still. And level 2 means turn off level 2 alarm means that it'll turn off level 1 and level 2 alarm. And open means that all the alarms will be on. So again, for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to do turn off level 1 alarm. We'll hit save. Now there's no option to disable the level 3 alarm because that is your PWM alarm, which is actually, we're going to go through it in the fourth setting later on, but you can't turn off the level 3 alarm, only level 1 and level 2. Now in level 1 and level 2, depending on the wheel that you have, the alarms will sound at different times at different speeds. So I'm going to put a graph or some picture up here where you can see what wheel you ride and when the alarms will sound for each wheel. And you can make a better judgment on whether you want these alarms on or off. So going down to the next is the tilt back speed. The tilt back speed is pretty easy to understand. Turning off tilt back speed will essentially mean that the wheel will not tilt back at all. Setting it to 6 or 12 or 8 or 27. This is all kilometers an hour. Now another thing we can change is at the bottom we can change it to miles. So if we change it to miles, it'll be 12 miles an hour, 30, 48, 57. Depending on when you want tilt back, you can enter that in. Now obviously it goes to 90 miles per hour, so it's not going to work, but this is the setting that you can change on the app if you're more used to miles per hour. So the PWM alarm is basically a percentage-based safety margin relative to voltage. So the level 3 alarm, also known as PWM power alarm, is an ever-changing number. So obviously when you get down to a lower voltage, the alarm will sound earlier compared to when you have it at full voltage or fully charged. First setting is pedal turning angle adjustment. So on the pedal turning angle adjustment, you have the setting of 9 or 0. 0 will give you pedal dip forward, and 9 will give you the most. So as an example, to illustrate, basically on level 9, when you're going through a turn, the pedals will tilt up, kind of like this. Obviously not that dramatic. And then on level 0, it'll actually tilt forward. So when you're going through a turn, it'll tilt forward, like so, on a turn. And this will happen for any time you turn left, right, or you're going backwards, left or right, it'll have that tilt on whatever setting. So you can customize that to however you want. Now another setting that I want to go through is the horizontal adjustment. So this is a fine tuning of the calibration setting. So if you have this all the way on 1 and you hit confirm, you'll notice that the wheel tilts forward. And if I have it all the way on 9, it'll tilt the wheel back. So this is a fine-tune adjustment on top of the calibration setting.
So let's talk about the operating mode. So essentially, this will only work with some of the newer models like the Begode Extreme. And when you tap on the operating mode, it'll switch between racing modes, and it essentially just warns you to make sure you're at a complete stop. Don't do it while you're riding, and it'll switch between racing mode and off-road mode. As you can imagine, the off-road mode will offer more torque, and the racing mode will offer a faster overall acceleration curve and less kind of standstill torque is the idea. So you can hit confirm to switch between the modes. Now, because I'm connected to a model that doesn't support this currently, like the A2, it won't switch, but if you're on the Begode Extreme or any of the newer models, I imagine this will be fixed very soon or can be used with this operating mode function.
Now on the maximum speed reminder, it's currently showing up as kilometers an hour. We're going to switch back to miles. So on the maximum speed reminder, basically this is only a screen prompt where your phone and your phone screen will flash and vibrate. It has nothing to do with the alarms on the wheel. So you can set that to whatever you want. And so what this will mean is at 34 miles per hour, my phone screen will blink, will flash, and it'll also vibrate. This is really helpful if you have like an Android wristwatch and you have the Begode app installed. That may be a useful function for you. Or you have your phone kind of tied to your wrist or your forearm. Now the next setting is the LED. The LED is, again, another function where it's dependent on the wheel. So depending on which wheel you have, perhaps the Nikola or the MCM, these LEDs will act differently. So just because it performs a certain way on LED 1, it won't be the same on a Nikola. So it won't be the same. So that's why they don't have a specific name. I highly suggest that you just play around with the different LED settings and find the one that you like, and just be sure to hit save. I'm on the A2, there's no LEDs, so it won't make a difference. The volume setting. The volume setting on the volume setting is another setting that you may be interested in. So if we change it all the way up to 9, and we can use the lift switch, you can hear that it's quite loud. Now if we do 1 and we hit success, you can barely hear it. It's so quiet. So if you think that the alarm is way too loud, that's another function that you can change. See, when I lift it off the table and do a free spin, it doesn't impact the power alarm volume, so it's still on the loudest. This is simply just for app feedback or trolley handle turning on and off the wheel. So if you want to be a little bit more discreet, this is going to be a setting that you're going to want to change. Additionally, there is also another setting that I want to go over, which is the maximum allowed tilt angle. So maximum allowed tilt angle is the side tilt cutoff angle. At low, it is 40 degrees. At medium, it is 52. And at high, it is 60. So to demonstrate, or to illustrate, basically your tilt off angle on low would be somewhere like this, about 40 degrees. And on medium, it would be lower. And on high, you'll have a high tilt cutoff angle, so it's 60 degrees. Obviously, I don't know if this is exactly 60, but this is just to illustrate what the function does. Now, if you're an off-road rider or you're someone that likes to take their wheel to the skate park or things of that nature, you would probably want it on high. If you're someone who's just a casual rider, medium or low is a good setting. Now, we're going to go through the calibration, which is the next setting. But before we do that, I'm going to go through the last bits of information down here, and that is mileage statistics, shows your total mileage. New unit conversion, we've already gone through that. To disconnect from the wheel, you can click unbind. You can also see the battery information. With the newer models like the Begode Extreme, you have a smart BMS, and you'll be able to see the cells and all the battery information. Not on the A2, unfortunately. So another thing I want to demonstrate is how to calibrate your gyroscope. So to do that, you want to go to the calibration setting. If you tap that and you hit confirm, your wheel will no longer balance. It won't turn off, but it will no longer balance, like so. And all you want to do is turn off the wheel and then turn it back on. When you hear the long beep, you can turn off the wheel. And turn it back on again. And you're fully calibrated. So it's important that when you calibrate the wheel, to have the wheel completely in the upright position. What I mean by that is that it's not leaning off side to side, and it's not leaning forward or back, to have the gyroscope properly calibrated. So this concludes our eWheels tutorial on the iOS platform for the Begode app. If there are any questions, be sure to reach out to eWheels, support@ewheels.com, and we'll be sure to help you out with any additional questions that you may have. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.